Okay, here we go. Can everybody see the screen?
Yep.
Good. Okay, so a couple things to report here. I'm trying to think of what I should cover first. Anybody? Oh, by the way, we should. Bill, why don't you give everybody your tell people what you've been doing with the event.
Which bit?
Deweese or O'Hanlon?
Deweese.
Yeah,
Oh,
Dewey's.
Deweese.
I
Okay.
guess that's you.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting ready to do my first ever event. I'm very excited. An audiobook seminar. Because of all that's happening within the marketplace right now. It's an explosion of demand for narrators due to Amazon. And so we've scheduled it for Saturday, October the 1st. And actually, I just finished doing a YouTube video talking about audiobooks and then tagged it with the promo for the event and sent out a letter to my, or email rather, to my list today. And so starting all the promotion for it today.
Excellent. So tell people some of the things that we learned. First off, it took us a while to put this site together, but I think it's a really good example of a of a seminar site. So why don't you just walk people through it here? First thing we did was Stanley was came up with. I gave him some ideas about how I wanted this to look, but I think he did a pretty good job of implementing it. Which was here's the guy speaking to the mic, here's the name of the seminar, and out comes book. So tell people the
Right.
rest of it here.
Perfect. So yeah, great. I love the banner. And then we just do a little setup here, giving some of my experience, and then promoting the event in the red font. And then right below that, I do an introductory video where I talk about what's happening right now with audio books. And it really, truly, it's an explosive market right now, and there will be lots of jobs available. So I talk about that for 4 minutes and 18 seconds, as you can see.
Yep.
And then below that, had Fred interview me, and we talked for almost 25 minutes in more detail
Although we did
about
have
the
to alter,
opportunities for voice.
we had to alter that that interview, right?
I had to edit out a four-letter expletive that Fred used because we're actually having the event on the campus of a conservative Christian college, which actually I used to teach at. And they're doing some big promotion for it at no cost for me. And so it dawned on me yesterday, if they send their people back to this, they'll get their ears full from somebody. So I just had to go out and do a little editing.
Now, did was there only
But
one that I used that whole time?
yeah, that was the only one. You were pretty well behaved for the most part.
You better remind me next time. I should censor myself a little bit better. So the cool thing is here is that we used both audio, video, and we're using text, which I think is working pretty well.
Yeah, I think so. And of course, time will tell. But I think it looks great, and there's a lot of interactivity between the audio interview and the video, and there's a lot to read there. And Fred gave me, I used his template for doing that, and gave me some good feedback to help me fine tune the copy, and I'm real pleased with it.
Yeah. Anybody have any comments to make on this, by the way? Anything to talk about on this particular site? Anything you want to say? Anyone? Anyone? Bueller.
It just looks good.
Yeah, I think it does. And the thing that we're going to do, and this is why I wanted to bring this up, is that this last publishing seminar that we did, I had some really, really big challenges with because I was doing it in a small room. And so what happened was I decided to, um, I decided to not use and bring some of my fancy mics, which was a bad idea. So what I did, and I think did I show this to everybody last week? I think no, I don't even think did I show it, I didn't show it to you, did I, Bill?
No, I
Deweese?
don't think so.
Okay, well, I put up a video. I got really, really frustrated with what happened. And so on my blog, I then did this. And I think that if any of you haven't gone to there yet, it would be worth going to. Um, Let me just show you. And here's what I did. And I used iMovie and didn't just go straight into it. So I did a lot of titling and stuff. But what happened was I realized that I do primarily two different kinds of events. I do small events that don't need amplification with, say, less than 25 people. And then events that need to be, I need speakers and amplification. Now, for some reason, my site is not connecting. Can everybody hear me? Yeah, here it is finally. Okay. Everybody can still hear me, right?
Yes.
Good.
Yep.
Okay, so what I did was I did here audio systems for recording live seminars. Posted this on YouTube, and I just want to show you because everybody who's going to be doing live events should go through this. And what I encourage you to do is similar to everything else, is let's try and everybody use the same equipment. And so this is what I did. I made a little bit more sophisticated. I'll just play a little bit of this.
Okay, this video is to show you how to use a mixer along with some microphones to make it really easy for you to record live events, both in small groups where you don't need to amplify the sound and in large groups where you need to do that. So first off, as you can see here, I am using a Yamaha MG102.
So what I did with this, not to bore all of you guys, you can go to the site and check it out, is I went through every single component and every single wire and connection and how they go and how you should use them both with and without amplification. And anybody who, anybody in our group who wants to do this, the problem is when I get to the microphone section, the microphones cost for each one of them, it's a system that has 2 mics in one. So you see up here where I've got 4 connections. Everybody see my cursor?
Yes.
So those 4 connections, 2 of those are going to one little mic setup and 2 are going to the other. And what happens is, and if I sort of, I move this along, you'll probably see when I get there, it's not there yet. Let me just mute this and let it play though. So what happens is that I said to myself, I really, well, what, no, that wasn't what I was trying to do here. What I wanted for, Sabrina demanded that I was getting so frustrated with this stuff that what I did was I went to Guitar Center and I said, look, here's my problem. And the guy said, oh, no problem. Here's what you need to do. And so he gave me all of these tips and techniques. And I went back home and I recorded the video primarily so I could remind. Now, those are the 2 right here. These are the microphone systems. Each one of these devices costs about $500, but it gives you 2 mics, 1 handheld and 1 lavalier. And you can also, you can get 2 of the same if you want. But I got 1 of each. So the idea would be that you have a total of 4 mics, 2 of them handheld, 2 of them lavs. And what can happen is the people who are speaking on stage would use the lavalier mics. I would have 1 handheld for me if I'm sort of orchestrating things, and then 1 handheld to go into the audience. And so you have 2 different stations here, and I just explained all this. And I'd like everybody to use the same equipment only because if you have any problems or issues, now I can diagnose what the heck is going on. So I show people which cables to use and which places to go in and out of. And this is like a brain dead way of doing this. So you won't have any problems. Now this is whether or not you're doing this in front of 300 people or in front of 20 people. And what I told Bill was for his event, I wanted him to just check and see what the university is going to charge. And Bill, did you get any feedback on that yet?
I haven't yet, no.
And so the whole idea here is that my and if I can, I'll just quickly do this for everybody. So I have the Yamaha mixer, which goes for about $100. I got the 2 what do you call it? The 2 Shure, they're wireless mic systems. And by systems, I mean they come with 2 mics each. So 2 mics each. So each of these costs about $500. So that's about $1,000. And then I had, what else did I have? I had the video camera, which we know is the Canon Vixia, and that goes for about, these days about $400. And let's see what else. And then I had the Fender Passport 150, which these days goes for about $400 as well. Now, so if you had to buy all this stuff, you'd be looking at, what's that, about $2,000. Once you have it though, you're set. And what you can do is you can speak into the mics and the one thing I am leaving out here is the Marantz PMD 660 or the 670, which is about another $500. So you're really looking at about $2,500 to maybe $2,700. I'm trying to make it so that anybody who's a JV partner, obviously, doesn't have to spend all this money. I can just, if necessary, I can just either send you guys or fly in with the various equipment, and maybe the only thing we need to get there is some kind of an amplification system, whether it's this one or anything else. So, and I learned a couple of interesting things. And some of you who know audio, like Bill, who plays, Bill Luis, who knows audio from that, but Bill O'Hanlon, who does it from playing guitar, you can, you want to try and find a system that will allow you to do your sound amplified and your sound not amplified. And this Fender Passport sort of is a combination mixer and amplifier, but you really don't need this if you have the mixer, so you can just get what are called powered speakers. The problem with powered speakers and that whole thing is a lot of them are pretty heavy. So in the event that I say traveled to Bill O'Hanlon's and he said, "Hey Fred, they want to charge me $2,200 to do this," I said, "Well, forget that. I'll just hop on a plane and bring all the equipment. The only thing I wouldn't bring is the speaker system, be too heavy." So that's a little bit about that. So that's what I recorded that I recorded this program here primarily for me to remember where everything went. And so I put labels on everything as you go through here. You'll see I've got it all, which place it goes into, which knobs to turn. And this is a really good thing for me to remember, but also for anybody else who wants to do it, as long as they get the same equipment, because all equipment varies. There's going to be, variations. But anyway, so I thought I'd put that together for everyone, including myself. Let's see here. Bill O'Hanlon just came back from New York. And anything to report on your end, Bill? Mr. O'Hanlon? Paging Mr. O'Hanlon? Okay.
He nodded off.
Okay, he did. Avish, you just came back from California here.
I did.
So anything new to report from you? By the way, I looked at some of the stats on the, and Bill Deweese, one of the things I noticed on your stats, did you take a look at the most recent ones?
Yeah.
Bounce rate went up.
And the overall numbers went up too.
Time on site, down. So two things are moving in the wrong direction. Now, the thing about that is that I think that the reason why we had a relatively low bounce rate and a relatively long time on the site is most of the people were coming through direct referrals. So my guess is that these are people that already sort of know and love you.
Okay. You're just coming back for a quick visit to get a quick fix?
No, I'm sorry. The people a month or two ago were people who know and love you. Whereas
I see what you're saying. Right, yeah.
Because
I noticed there was a dramatic increase in the number of people who came to the site this week.
Yeah, what did it look like? It went from, what did it go up to?
It went from like low 200s to almost 300, I believe.
Nice. And so now the thing is what about opt-ins? Have they been maintaining their level in terms of?
Yeah, they're about the same.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't seen a difference in that.
Good. Then let's not mess with anything, because is it still like almost 30%?
Well, no, I'm sorry. I thought you meant in the number of opt-ins. No, I would say it stayed pretty, not the percentage, but the number of opt-ins has stayed pretty level, so which means the percentage is down.
Yeah, and that again is because it's probably not coming from direct referrals. But I'm tempted with the high rate of opt-ins, if we could do a percentage on that. Now, if you got the same, so your percentage much has dropped from maybe 30 to 20.
Probably something, give or take, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm hesitant to mess with this because the opt-in rate is pretty darn good. At some point when we start to get a lot of traffic, we may want to start to split test this page that they go to see what our better numbers are,
right.
Or if we can achieve any better numbers. But what else here, Avish? I'm sorry. Let's go back to you. What about our speaking experts site here? Anything going on that we should know about?
Nothing really exciting. I mean, while I was gone, I posted a couple of articles, a couple more blog posts and stuff. But in our opt-ins are, everything seems to be roughly the same, but I don't have a lot new to report.
Got it.
Did you get the? Did you end up getting that automatic report?
Yes, I did. It did come.
Okay, good.
I guess it came to me late on Monday. I don't know if you resent it or did it just come on its own?
No, I didn't. I didn't do anything in that, so it must have just come on its own late that day.
Got it. Okay, so here we've got the Speaking Expert site, and again, and the things. Let's see. Is it the blog? Is where you're writing all the posts, right?
Yeah, I started adding some video posts and whatnot too, so kind of mixing that up.
Cool. And do you have a video post up here that we can look at?
Yeah, I think. I don't know. Some of the ones higher up than that should be video posts. I kind of forget which. I think the benefit of starting over the blank slate was a video post.
So it says read full article, but that'll take us to. It's a video post. Let's see here. Come on, baby. Here it is. Okay. And so.
Hey everyone, this is Avish Parashar from SpeakingExpert.com. Have you ever struggled when you're writing something, whether it's a speech or a subsection of your speech or even a story or some humor for that speech? It's like you sit there.
So then you went through. Now, the one thing that I don't think Google is yet optimized for is being able to pull the audio off this and do it. So this is something where that gal that I told you guys about could be really, really valuable. And, you know, she charges like 50 cents per minute. So you're looking at we're looking at a whopping $2 here, I think, at most. So if you wanted to
get it transcribed.
Yeah, you can get it transcribed. So now because that's what I'm doing on a lot of, you know, so just to go back to mine, let me see, where are we here? What's happening is I'll take the webinars, and I'm actually, I don't think I'm putting them in the blog post area, but what I'm doing is on the webinars is that many of the webinars are now being transcribed, and it really gives you, if you think about it, there's a lot of content, because as it turns out, for some reason, and this is sort of an interesting sort of rule of thumb that I found works for me when I'm doing my stuff, is that I record. Let me just see if I can find something here. Here, transcript available, right? So what I found is that for an hour of my recording, it's almost exactly 10,000 words. So if I did a seminar that was basically 6 hours long, came all out to almost exactly 60,000 words. So there's some weird thing for me is see if that works for the rest of you guys. But anyway, so here's the transcript as well as the video. Now the beauty of that is, from the standpoint of SEO, is you're obviously getting a lot more content, written content on the site, because I'm sure that Google is looking at the videos, but I don't know how well they're doing. If they're, Avish, you should, now those of you who's got Google Voice and a Google Voice account? Avish, I know you do. Anyone else?
I do.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Well, have you noticed how good the Google system is at transcribing your Google voicemail?
Mine is awful.
Yeah, well, that's my point. It sucks. So if it sucks that bad on that, imagine how bad it sucks if Google is currently going into audio and video posts and trying to pick out whether or not you have keywords in there. Good luck.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that for at least until when we see Google Voice, because you should have seen, Avish, what your message when it was transcribed, because Sabrina was
Yeah, I remember you forwarded that to me.
God, it's crazy. So it's so bad. And again, I don't think it's really Google's fault, but the technology yet isn't at the point where it can mess with various things that you need to mess with in order to figure out what are you really saying. So my guess is that Google isn't going to be relying very heavily on a tool that goes into audios and videos and discerns what keywords and whatever you're using until we see their Google transcript on our Google Voice doing a better job. Then and only then will I think it's probably going to be used for other stuff. What else, Avish, what else did you, anything new and exciting you learned at the convention that you can share?
Nothing that's really all that exciting here. For me, the convention was more about
Hanging with
connecting with people and just kind of getting remotivated. Yeah.
and
What kind of convention was it?
this is the National Speakers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And as you saw, I sent out the Twitter post and the Bill, tell everybody what we're doing in terms of, because right now we're doing a for the audiobook seminar. Audiobook seminar. We're pricing this right now at
$4.95.
Yep. So we go $4.95
Pre-registration
until a certain date, and then we're going to jack it up. But one of the things that we're doing is tell them a little bit about what we're doing with some of the people who've already bought stuff or whatever.
Yeah, well, we offered a discount to those who have already bought. I have a video series on business building for voiceover talent, and I offered them $100 off if they registered. If they, while seats are still available, if they wanted to come. And I sent that out this morning. I haven't heard back anything yet, but we're early on.
Okay, for those who bought other stuff. Okay, and so what we're trying to do here, and this is my philosophy, this is what I told, Bill, also let them know what you did with the local radio station.
Oh yeah, well the station actually I managed the station for 14 years, and I do some they're a nonprofit, and I do some work for them on occasion, and I don't charge them, and so I thought, well, let me a little quid pro quo here. So I met the guys for lunch. The station manager and program director told them what I was doing. They offered to give me free promotion to promote it on the air, send it out to their list, and they offered me the use of their facilities. They have 6, in addition to having a high-tech teaching room with audio workstations, 20 audio workstations. They also have 6 individual recording studios. So they've offered me all this at no cost.
Gotta love that.
Yeah.
And so what are they going, tell people again and remind me, what kind of on-air promotion are they going to be doing?
Well, I'm going to record a 30-second promo, and I don't know what kind of frequency I'm going to get, but it will be, I'm sure, relatively good, because they also plan to do a mailing to their list.
How big is it?
So, I don't know. I mean, I know it's a lot, because back when I used to manage the station, it was probably over, I don't know, 10 or 15,000. So it could be 20, 30, 40, 50,000 by now. I don't know.
So are we saying it's probably a minimum of 20K?
I would say, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, that sounds pretty cool. Now, by the way, this is fairly sweet. Now, I'm not sure. The whole thing here is that, we're assuming that people who are listening to the radio station, there's a certain percentage of those people who say, I can do that. And so Bill is going, okay, if you think you can do that, let me show you how to make some money with it.
Right.
And go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it is a nonprofit station, so there are federal rules that govern how and what you can say on the air. So it's not as it's more informative. The promos will be informative rather than sales-y, if that makes sense.
Yep. And so the nice thing though is you're getting to promote it. The other thing,
right.
I'm just wondering now. The thing that I told Bill is this, and again, I would say this to anybody listening on the call, which is that if you think of this, you're doing a seminar, okay? And from that seminar, you're going to record it in audio and video. So my feeling is that even if the seminar just breaks even, you get a great product out of it. And that's from your recording both audio and video of that event. So let's look at our hard costs. What are our hard costs on the hard fixed costs on this event? And let's just go over those a second. What are they, Bill?
Well, the facility is going to cost us nothing. So we will have food costs, which will come out. The whole thing will end up being probably about $20 a head for the day. So probably at the most $400.
That's
if we sell out.
Yeah, $400, assuming we have 20 people show up.
Right.
If 20 people pay and attend. Now, I told Bill that, now, by the way, let's just assume that everybody got in on the early bird discount and they all paid, $400. I mean, so we're looking at $8,000 as the potential revenue from this. I would say that if you make $1,000 on this event, I would deem it a success.
Okay.
So
I'll go with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying I don't necessarily think until we get you, much, much higher rankings in the search engines, a much, much bigger list yourself. I mean, I'm just saying as long as we break even or do better, we're doing fine.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so
that takes the pressure off.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Because as long as you're breaking even, then everything else, is gravy after that. And we're going to put this product together. The other thing is that when I, whether it's my equipment or whoever else's equipment, you're going to want to make sure and that's where you said you might be able to find some kids that are with the college, right?
Right. Correct.
So let's talk about some of that audio video stuff. Your next step is to talk to. Now, do you have to talk to the AV department, or who do you talk to?
Well, I've got two possible directions here. One is I actually have a friend who's in charge of the video department of the school. He teaches television and video. And then the other is I know another young gentleman who's kind of an AV freak. He works for he's a friend of one of my sons, and he works for Best Buy. And he's really into all the latest audio and video. And so I thought about using him.
Okay, so
now
now
I'll talk to both.
And with those guys, I mean, who knows what your cost is going to be? Did you figure that into your hard cost, by the way?
Well, no, because I don't know what those costs will be yet. I haven't talked to them.
Okay.
But I'm sure it'll be minimum.
Yeah. Yeah. So the nice thing is, again,
because I'm working with guys that I know.
Now, let's just say, here's the other thing that we have to think about, Bill. Let's say you bust your butt, you promote this, and you get 4 people who are going to pay to be there. Now, here's my suggestion.
Okay.
It's now, 3 days to go until the event. So now what you have to do is what they do in the Broadway show business is paper the house. Which means, you tell people, 3 or 4 people that are good friends of yours, if they want to show up and sit through the seminar, the only thing they have to do is not tell people that they didn't pay to be there.
Okay, gotcha.
So in the event that you are, 48 to 72 hours from the event, I sort of would prefer to have, more people in the event than just the 4. So if we could add 4 plus, say, 3, so now we've got 3 unpaid. At least we've got 7 people. It's going to be a little bit better that way.
Right.
But again,
I know it's a totally different dynamic having a full house as opposed to empty.
Yeah, and again, that has to do a lot of times. I just wrote a note to the Marriott where I held my event in Anaheim last week, and one of the things I told them is that, hotels are really, really funny about their meeting rooms. And so they actually charged me $650 or more for this stupid room that I only used a third of it. And so I said, why couldn't you have offered me the smaller room at a better price? And they sent an evaluation around, and I started bitching at them through the evaluation. But anyway, so this is important. Avish, what are your next steps? What's going on with you?
Well, that's a good question. Right now, I've been focused on the thing with you, Bill, and I are doing the coaching, getting that ready for the launch.
And that is at Paid Public. That one's at paidpublicspeaker.com. And why don't we tell people what we're doing here? We've got two tracks. Tell people what they are.
Yeah, the first track is what we're currently doing. We're launching the second round of, which is group coaching. And that consists of people get a ton of products the 3 of us have made either individually or together, plus 3 phone calls a month and interactive forum where they can interact with each other, plus the 3 of us hop on and answer questions and give motivation.
And
we're in like month 4 of the first version of that, and so the second option they have is for some people that's too much work or too much money, so we're going to offer them a self-paced version.
Let's tell people this is $297 for the first one. Yeah. Go ahead.
Per month, yeah. And the second track for a cheaper price, they get self-paced, which is where they get all the products, and the products are broken up into 12 modules, each focusing on a specific thing, 1 per month. But no phone calls, they get a forum where they can interact with each other, but the three of us will not be participating in that forum.
Got it. And so we're trying to differentiate. And this one, second track, would be the self-paced version. And this is the more, what do you want to call it, individual coaching. Tell them what we were doing earlier today.
Yeah, so for the self-paced, we're going to be 12 modules, and those are made mostly with products we already have. So today what we did is Bill, Fred, and I got on the phone and recorded an introduction for each module. The three of us motivate them, we congratulate them for sticking with the program, and then we get them excited about what is coming in this module they can learn. And then we finish with a short, like 30-second to a minute thing which is going to happen when they finish the module, that tells them, hey, great job for doing it, and then gets them excited about the next module, because I'm not exactly sure what we've decided as far as the registration and pricing, but at certain points they'll have the option of whether they continue or not. So we want to get them at the end of each module, we want to get them motivated to continue on to the next one.
I think that with our individual, sort of the individual program up here, which is $297, we're making people go for 3 months paid in advance, and then they also have to, quote unquote, sign an intent to go 12 months. So the whole idea is they pay.
Sorry, Fred. Fred, let me just jump in.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was muted before. We're actually doing 6 months for the speaking one, and we're doing an A/B split test, which isn't exactly an A/B split test, because you and I are doing another coaching program where we're going to have people sign up for 3 months for $297 a month. So with the speakers one, it's 6 months, because we found the stick rate is much higher with 6 months sign up.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. So now we're doing 6 months in advance on this, so they're basically giving us a bunch of money. And then on the other one, we're going to try it 3 months only, but getting people. And I think that in both those cases, Bill, it's a good idea to get people to sign some kind of a letter of intent to be there for the whole year.
Yeah. I think that's great. Yeah. And we're just, the split test is, if we, they pay for 6 months, they pay $1,782 to sign up for 6 months. That's a lot. That's a big chunk of change for some people. And the 3 months is $981. So we're going to see, do we get so many more registrations at $981? It makes it worth it to require a little less upfront commitment. But my suspicion, because we've had a little experience with this, is we're going to get a much better results, in terms of numbers and stick rate with the 6 months in advance. You get serious people who, if they're going to put forth that much money, most of them are serious and actively participate in the coaching program with that much.
Now tell them about the other thing that we're doing in terms of, okay, so now people come in, they're there for 6 months or a year, and then what are we doing with the graduates?
Well, we have a bunch of coaching programs that we're doing, and we get to a certain point where they basically consumed all our products, and they've gotten all the basic instruction, but we found that some people really like the ongoing support and coaching, so we made a graduate program, which we're just unveiling in the next couple of months, for people who've gone through the basic programs, and that's just a $297 a month coaching program. They can still have access to all the products, but they'll probably have consumed most of those and any new ones we create. But it's mainly the ongoing, keep your momentum going, and we'll be your coaches. So people can come into that from info products, from speaker stuff, from author stuff, from whatever, if they already have the basic knowledge, they can come in and get the ongoing coaching and support.
Right, and this, now we're not, I forget which website I have, but we'll figure that out. I forget the exact.
BuildYourEmpire.com.
Is that it? Do I actually own that particular? Let me just see.
You told us you did. I hope you did.
Let me just see here. Let me just make sure it's mine. I don't know I think it might be Now Build Your Empire. Let me just see if this is mine or not.
Yeah, Now Build Your Empire might be. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so that's anyway. So yeah, that's, I think it's something like Now Build.
Well, and it's
Let me try it.
Yeah, Now Build Your Empire is probably true, but I just wanted to say, I was on mute before and I was talking away and none of you were hearing me, but I was going to say, as long as we were on Bill's, yeah, there you go. Build Your Empire. There you go. Yeah, that's it. While we're on Bill DeWeese, I just released an audiobook that Bill DeWeese created for me from one of my print books, and people are loving it, and I made back the money I paid Bill in the first 2 days, so that was good.
Nice.
And I put it out to my list.
So if anybody has an audio book that they want recorded, Bill DeWeese can do that for you as well.
Or he may have students that can do it for a slightly better price, but they won't have Bill DeWeese's voice.
Bill, another thing we should put as a bonus to coming to this seminar, which is sort of a no promises thing, but tell people that as a result of coming to this event, you will be put into a Rolodex when people ask for services and I can't deliver it at the price they want. You might be able to do it for less, and I will send them your way. Bill, are you with me, Bill DeWeese? He might be sleeping. Or
he might be muted.
Anyway, I think that's a great one. So Bill O'Hanlon, let's talk to the other, since we have him on here. So what we've got is, we've got publishing a book.com. That's relaunching shortly. We've got paid public speaker.com. We've got now Build Your Empire for graduates of those. Now, what about if somebody says, you know what, I just want to come into your Build Your Empire class. What do we tell them?
Well, we'd have to screen them, but if they've already done speaking and they've already done, they already have books out, they already have some information products, sure, we'd take them in there. And we'd take them provisionally, for a couple of months. Again, for that one, I think we should get people to sign up for 3 months at a time. And, if they're a really disruptive influence or they truly don't know, they just think they knew, we'd say, you're not appropriate for this program, go into one of the earlier ones.
Yep, I think that's a good way to do it. And that's what, Frank...
Well, yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
And the other thing I would say about those two programs, the publishing of Paid Public Speaker and publishing of book programs, is we learned one thing, and that is it's important to have people apply, because we've got some inappropriate people who, tried to get in, and we screened them, and after a while, we learned what the warning signs were when they applied. So even though, it's a little bit of a hassle, they have to apply, we have to read the application, we could see some clear trends, when someone would just say, we say, are you committed to writing your book and getting it published within the next 12 months? Yes. What do you think you could bring to the group? Lots. It's like, wait a minute, you're going to write a book and be a speaker and that's all you can say? If they answered in one-word answers, it was a warning sign. And sometimes we talk to them on the phone or ask them some more questions by email, and almost always they weren't appropriate for the program. They were just, maybe seeing if they could get asked to dance or something. I don't know what it was. And then a few people that applied and we accepted actually said, oh, I don't actually want the program, I just wanted to see if I get accepted. It was very weird. It's very weird. So, we've learned, screen people a little, because these are group programs, and some of the group members are extraordinarily supportive and smart, and they're going to help their fellow group members, and some of them are selfish, duds, non-participants or whatever, and we want to minimize the amount of those people. So that's why we have the application stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's, so those programs, and again, everybody, if you're watching this program live or on the replay, make sure that you understand, take a look at these various sites, if for nothing else other than to sort of figure out what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, and maybe, do something similar along with, Bill DeWeese's site that we gave out earlier on how to do that. But I think, Bill, what is going to be, let's tell people, what is this program going to be about?
Well, this is for people who already know, the basics of, they've already got some basic stuff. Like they've already got a self-published or a print-published book or an e-published book. They're already doing public speaking if that's what they want to do. And they maybe have a few products, but they don't have a lot yet. They really haven't succeeded yet to the extent they can't support themselves on this. They still have a job, or they're still not where they want to be. And it's people who like ongoing support. We can all use coaching. When I talk to Fred or when I talk to somebody else who knows something that I don't know, or he'll say, why aren't you doing this? Like Fred and I meet together every couple of months, and he'll say, like, why aren't you doing this? Or what else have you got? And I say, well, I've got this idea. And he goes, great. We were sitting in New York City in the diner, the Starlight Diner near Fred's house, and and I said, oh, I got this idea. And this is a mystery project, which we aren't announcing yet. It will be available in September. But all of a sudden, Fred and I realized that this could be our ticket to early retirement.
Yeah.
It was a great idea. And he's like, what do you mean? Why haven't you done anything with this? And I'm like, well, I had this idea for a couple of years, and I ran it by a couple of people. But he said, okay, here's what do we need to do to get it done? So that's what we do with this kind of thing. It's what you're doing with a lot of the JV partners. You're saying, these are very smart and capable people, but they're not where they want to be yet. They're not making the money they want to make. They're not having the impact they want to make. And if you're in that position, anybody who's listening on this, we're going to launch the publishingabook.com in, again, we're going to relaunch because we're already doing one, August 15th, so it's not quite ready yet. And the paid public speaker launches August 15th as well. So if you know anybody who wants to write a book or wants to become a paid public speaker, send them our way. Or if you're listening to this and you want to be in those programs, go there and apply. We're still working on the sales page, on the announcement pages, so give us a couple of days. But August 15th was a Monday. We're going to launch those things. We're going to start September 1st, and these are 3-month or 6-month commitments. But really, they're year-long programs. And you can also go along and do a self-paced one, as Avish was saying, with either one of these. If you don't want that coaching, you don't need us to talk to you and help you specifically, you can get the information for a lot less than the $300 a month. It's $100 a month. But if you want that coaching, come into those things. If you've already got this stuff and you're listening to this, or if you're one of the JV partners and you want to be part of this, Now Build Your Empire is for people who've already done the basics and just want to get ongoing support and ongoing ideas.
Now, have we come up with what our price point is going to be for the Now Build Your Empire?
$297 a month. That's $300 a month. $300 a month. I charge $500 for my coaching program, so you're getting Fred and me, who usually cost about $500 an hour. You're getting the two of us a couple of times a month on the phone, as well as, again, access to all our new products, if you've already gotten the old ones, or all the old products if you haven't gotten them. So Fred and I, between us, have about $7,000 worth of products that we sell. So you get all those for free. So,
now
we trickle them out month by month.
Good.
But
Yeah, no, go ahead. I'm sorry, Bill.
no, that's it.
Oh, well, the one thing that I did since we spoke last, I did a couple of things here. And somebody's on the call who's in this right now. The first call is going to be after this one in about an hour. I set up this one, which is I said, you know what? I'm going to do a little bit of individual coaching with people on information marketing. And so I set this up, and a gentleman by the name of Bob. Bob is on the call, who on the webinar, and he filled out this, sent it to me, and this is something that I would encourage everybody to do as well. You set up a coaching site. Yeah. This coaching site is for individual coaching, and there's pluses and minuses. And Bill O'Hanlon, we should talk a little bit about this. What you just said about the JV partners, I mean, I really enjoyed myself the synergy that went along with the JV Partners Summit, which was last March or April, I think it was March. But I mean, I really enjoyed that. I already set the date for next year's, and I can't tell you that I get a lot of ideas, from the JV partners as well. And so what should people, I mean, there's pluses and minuses to doing group versus individual coaching. What do you think some of those pluses and minuses are?
Well, I mean, there's a synergy, as you say. One person sparks off another person. The people you have as your JV partners, these people are already smart and successful. So why not be hanging around with those people? You develop a shared vocabulary. People know what a landing page is, or a squeeze page, or info products are. You develop a shared vocabulary. But more than that, it's this bouncing ideas off one another, and somewhat it's like a shared accountability. You say, we have people declare what they're going to get done in the next month. I intend to get this much done, and then somebody says, hey, whatever happened with that? You know, like Avish has been writing a book for a while, trying to get a traditionally published book, and every once in a while we just put our boot in his ass and say, Avish, what are you doing? Because it's easy. It's easy for him to get scattered because he's already successful. He's already busy. And so it's like, remember you said you wanted to get a traditionally published book published, done. Where's your proposal? And he's very close to the end of his proposal. I don't know where you are right now, Avish, but very close. And he's running it by group members. So there's some feedback, there's some encouragement, there's some accountability, and there's the sparking of ideas. But the individual stuff sometimes is better because you can get more into your specific issues, and there's no group to in some ways either be embarrassed in front of or take away from that focus, because people can easily also slip through the cracks in a group if they're not active. We have a couple of people that are lurkers who don't really participate very much in the group, and I don't know why they don't, but because I think they could get a lot more out of it.
Yeah, you know what? The other thing is that this is a question that Bob was on the webinar asked me, which is the JV partner arrangement, which is the site for that is jvwithfred.com. I'm making it so that this is something that oftentimes I don't approach people with unless I've met them in person, know them pretty well, et cetera, et cetera. So what I do is I'm using one of our programs or this program, say for example, to put people in for a period of say 3 months to see how it works out, to then decide on whether or not they would be an appropriate JV partner. And also, one of the things that's been really successful, and I want to thank everybody who's on the call for doing this, which is whenever I find someone who I think is going to be good, I ask some of you other JV partners to give me your feedback on them. And I know it takes up a little time, but could you guys comment on, I mean, I think it's incredibly valuable to me. Does that make sense as a way of, and I would gladly do it for you guys as well for something similar. Any comments on that? Avish, what do you think?
I mean, it's a smart way of screening, I think. I'd be curious. One thing I don't know is, I don't know if you've already pre-screened them, because the couple times I've done it for you, the people seem fine. So I don't know how many times that screening process has gotten someone out. But it's nice to talk to the person before you answer their questions. And I use it for both ways. I try to get a sense of them, but I tell them as honestly as I can what the program's going to be like, so they can ask, figure out if it's right for them as well.
Quite honestly,
it's like I think it's like interviewing Fred's ex-wife and finding out, what his good points are and what his bad points are to see if you're a fit for his next wife. That's it.
Yeah, let me say this, guys. I based on my experiences with my marriages, I really like the idea of getting people who I trust to give me the feedback before I move ahead with someone in either a business or a personal capacity. I mean, to me, it's really, really helpful. And I wish I'd started doing that earlier on marriages.
Me too.
There's a book in there someplace.
Yeah.
There's a book in there. The 360-degree feedback process before you get married. I think it's great.
Yeah, so I mean, and to me, this is really important because a lot of times, if I think someone's really, really good, and again, one of the things that we do with screening, and I would gladly do this for you guys as well, which is that sometimes you can see something that I can't, and there might be something that I'm missing because of my enthusiasm for the individual, etc. But the other thing that I'm going to add to this JV with Fred site, which I think is going to be good and will help further screen anybody who goes to this site, is I'm going to put a little button down here that says, click here to download the standard JV partner agreement. And I want people to see exactly what the deal is before they even fill out the form. Does that make sense to you guys?
And I think, that didn't you have us make some videos about what it was like to work with you too? That should be on there too.
You know what? And that's on, where is that?
JV
you know what? I think that
Fred
after
JV.
you submit your, no. Huh. Oh no, that's JV with
Probably
Fred.
on
Yeah.
the Fred JV.
That's
Yeah,
JV
it's on
with
Fred
Fred.
JV. JV with
Yeah,
Fred.
you guys put the videos on here. That's the
Yeah, that's good because I think that's like your prenup. You're like, hey, here's what you're in for. That's it.
Actually, you know what? This is where the contract should go. I'm screwed up. So click here to download the contract. And then when they
Well, just one more thing, Fred, about the individual versus group coaching. The one thing I think that, it's like I'm a psychotherapist, and if you hire me for an individual hour of psychotherapy, it costs you a certain amount. If you hire me for a group therapy, you can get me for less per hour, but I make more money per hour with group therapy. It's the same thing with coaching. If you try to hire me for an hour of individual coaching, number one, you probably can't. I don't want to be that busy. But I charge $500 an hour. If you hire me and Fred, or me and Fred and Avish for a month, you can get all of us for $300 a month. It's a much better deal. But I make more money doing group coaching than I do individual coaching. So I think it's a better deal all the way around.
Yeah, and I mean, again, like I said, there are certain people that probably, in terms of depending where they're going to end up, that's why I sort of like the Fred coaching thing as a place to get people started and see what makes sense for them. And I would encourage you guys. Now, Bill DeWeese, did you say you had set up something like this? Is it set up already?
No, I wrote the copy this past weekend based on what I saw with you, and if I haven't sent it to you, I will. My mind's been spinning with the seminar thing. So if you haven't seen it, and I'm guessing you haven't since you're asking, I'll forward that to you and Stanley.
Yeah. Now the other thing is, Avish, I would suggest you do that. Bill, you sort of don't need to do this, but Avish, I would do this as well. Does that make sense?
Wait a minute.
Are you there?
Which one you?
I like
Coaching with Avish. Coaching with Avish.
The coaching. Oh, adding that on. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you should put something up there for yourself, because that, and again, you don't really have to, if you don't want to put $297, if you want to put something lower, but put a site up, because then, people will realize that you do this, and you actually have a site for it. So it legitimizes you too, Avish.
Yeah, I have that option on my website, and I think my autoresponder even sends people there, but to this point I've had zero interest, so...
But you don't have a separate site, do you?
I don't think I do anymore. I may have at one point, but I do not anymore, certainly.
Yeah, I just sort of like the idea of a separate site. Anyway, good stuff. Any other final thoughts before we shut down until next week?
I went to New York City, which is what I was yapping on about while I was muted. I went to New York City. I stayed in the Fred Mansion. And I went to see the Book of Mormon, which was quite amusing, but not as amazing as everyone told me it was. It was just like an extended and live version of South Park about the Mormons. It was very funny.
That sounds like it would be a stitch too. But
everyone loved it. It was packed in that little Eugene O'Neill theater. It's just a small theater.
Yeah, that thing's sold out for the next 3 years, I think.
Yeah, I paid the scalper a lot of money. I told Fred how much I paid. He said, I hope that wasn't for one ticket. I said, no. Well, actually, I was going to go see another show, and it moved out of New York. And I already had the tickets to go there, frequent flyer tickets, and I had arranged to stay at Fred's. And so I went ahead and bought those tickets. And it's a hot show to see. So
yep, that's the one. Excellent. Any other final thoughts from anyone? Comments?